Welcome back. Welcome back.
That was weird. I was in the middle of typing and like the message pops up saying, "Hey, you're ready to be recorded." And I was pushing enter on as I was typing something, and then it just kicked me out. What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in again to Real Talk by Our Stories, Your Legacy. We're back with another episode, another fire round episode. It is a long week, and so we are back trying to stay consistent and on the grind. So excuse that, but we're back again. Thank you for tuning in, and we're here to discuss whatever is hot or trending, or whatever we just kind of spawn in the moment, just for us to kind of stay consistent and kick back and just kind of enjoy a conversation with each other. So in today's episode, the question goes, is new music that bad or are we just getting that old? Last week we talked about our taste in food. This week we are turning to another lighthearted episode talking about our taste in music. And as you all know, music is very subjective. It is truly the ear of the beholder, right? Is that even a saying? You know what I mean? But is it that newer music is that is it sounding bad to us or are we just feeling jaded? Or maybe we do enjoy some parts of it and we'll discuss that as well. So let's dive in. So, as always, before we begin, we're going to do a quick check in around the table, see how everyone's feeling today, and let's get right into it. I'm going to start over with Tyler. How's it going with you today, man?
Going well. Going well. A little tired today. Just coming back from a bachelor party. So very long weekend. 4 days. One of those things. Long drives, no sleep, late nights, and all that stuff. So definitely feeling it on that end, and then also just like I think my body's also just tired from. Um, me kind of destroying it in a way with just like the amount of food that was consumed, the amount of, whatever drinks we were having and all that stuff. So my body, it feels like it has been poisoned from the weekend. Um,
You need
it's one
that
of those.
detox.
Yeah, no, I need to detox now. And I tried to prep my body as much as I could for it. Um, as much as you can prep something for like that.
Right.
But yeah, it's just tired, and I feel like I need to eat a salad for a week, for every meal, I should say, for a
Yeah.
week to kind of get rid of that. So
Yeah.
just yeah, feeling it a little tired from the, like 4 hours of sleep and then driving 200 miles back. So yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us after all that long weekend and long day. So yeah, we'll get right into it. Zavan, how's it going with you, man?
I'm good. Uh, you know how it is. Same shit, different day. Just ready to get the summer started, honestly.
Yeah, except the past 2 days hasn't been very summer like.
No,
What
I
was it?
swear we got more rain than like April, it felt like.
Yeah, what was it like? We had the entire week last week, right? Full of hot sunshine.
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
like
not.
80 degrees and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm such a Pacific Northwesterner where I loved it, but I was complaining about it. As typical, us guys here in the Washington. I got checked though when I was calling my trash and recycle company, and their headquarters is well, I won't tell you where their headquarters is at yet. So I was calling them, and when you're talking to a customer service rep for your local area, you're assuming that it's a local rep. And so I'm talking to them. I'm just like, "Hey, how's your day? I'm glad the weather is cooling down. We had all this heat. So how are you doing?" And she was like, "Well, I'm glad you're feeling that way. We're over here having 100-degree desert heat. I'm out in Arizona." So I was like, "Okay, I got checked. You beat me." And I'm over here complaining for low 80s. But so yeah, so it's good to appreciate what we have because we don't get it often. Cool. Y'all ready? Let's dive right into the episode. All right, so I'm gonna start with this question, and there's 2 follow-up questions to it that are quick and easy. But I'm gonna open this up for either of you to start. From your perspective, and this could be in any genre. This is coming from your perspective, and if you want to give a little background to what your favorite genre of music is new music that bad, or are we just getting old?
Dude, to be honest with you, yeah, I'm not a fan of today's music, especially like the top hits on the radio. Usually, that I can't even recall the last time I listened to like the radio, just because it all sounds the same to me. It's always the same typical pop trap beats type of music. 4/4 time, same 4 chords with lyrics that just repeat themselves over and over again. And I mean, I guess this is my cynical view of the music industry and how it just became one big elite corporatist regime in terms of pop culture, pop music, and radio. So, I mean, I know what I'm saying now, especially at this day and age with like the younger generation. Like, what I'm saying is like controversial, and they'll just be like, "Okay, boomer." But I mean, they can listen to whatever they want. Music's music. I'm just not a fan of today's modern music. I'm more a fan of the radio hits like back in like 2003, 2004, 2005. And I think it really started to die out like after like 2008, I would say, around that ballpark. Just because the radio back then and the top, the top 20 hits, it was like more diverse. You would get a nice mix of pop, R&B, hip hop, rock, pop punk, all that stuff. And I'm if there's any genre that I'm a particular fan of, it's punk and pop punk because I grew up listening to that the most. And in the 80s, like 80s music, like part of my soul feels like, or I feel like a part of my soul just grew up in the 80s because like that would be like a time I would love to live as an adult between the 80s and 90s. So the genre from that point on up until like 2008, I would say specifically is like 80s pop, 80s rock, and grunge, punk, pop punk. My favorite genres of all time. There's never a day where I'm not listening to them. And like more specifically, like pop punk, it uses pop conventions, like same 4 chords, 3 chords, 4/4 time usually and stuff. But it felt like I mentioned earlier, there's like diversity, at least with pop punk in general, and it was always like going against the system, going against authority. That's what I love about punk music back then. It's just like kids were just trying to be free, trying to live their life as independents and stuff. Sadly, these days, I feel like a lot of that has turned around. Like you had Rage Against the Machine back in the day, and now it's like Rage on like behalf of the machine because they're like very fond of like these corporations and stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I feel like music has been taken over by like corporation elites. They don't make music because they're passionate about it anymore. They don't want meaning. It's they just want money. Again, my cynical view of music. So the kids can call me a boomer and whatnot, say I'm old, but that's my quick hot take on it.
Nice. Tyler?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat for the most part.
Yeah.
I would say
real quick,
that.
by the way, real quick, by the way, because I know you're getting in the same boat, and I think we're in the same boat. That's why we're all good friends here. And I don't think it's a cynical view. I think we're passionate about some of the music in our own way, and we'll talk about that later on. So hold on to that viewpoint, Zavon. Sorry, Tyler.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, I was just saying that. For me, it's not that it's horrible. Not all the music is horrible today. I think some of it I just question completely. Um, but like Zavon said, a lot of it is meant to be catchy. You know, um, I think now that I'm in my 30s, early 30s, I grew up with a lot of underground rap, a lot of that kind of stuff, a lot of things that were very lyrical. All their lyrics had meanings and everything, and kind of growing through that, and just kind of like Zilon mentioned too, there was almost more of a passion to the music back then. Not to say that not everyone has a passion nowadays. It just I think how it comes across is it's more poppy and all that stuff. Which again, if you listen to it, awesome. I listen to it too. I think it's just I don't I don't get hooked to that music as much as like the music that I grew up with, I would say. Because again, even this past weekend when we were driving all over the place, 600 miles, spent a lot of time in the car, spent a lot of time just listening to music and stuff. Um, a lot of the songs that we were playing on playlists and all that stuff they're all older songs anyways, uh, 2011 and older kind of thing. There are a few songs that have come out recently that are definitely more like catchy, all that stuff. We're just there. Um, but as far as like, is it bad versus are we just old kind of thing? I think, you know, I wouldn't say it's bad. People like it. That's, you can listen to whatever you want to, but I am definitely one for lyrics. When I listen to a song, I like to listen to lyrics. I like to know kind of the meaning. And if I don't quite catch the meaning the first time, sometimes uh, there's a guy who I watch actually, plug it, but Knox Hill on YouTube. He's a rapper, and he actually listens to songs and breaks them down. And I'm like, hmm, it's kind of cool to kind of see where the lyrics are coming from, like in kind of newer rappers and all of that stuff. But or certain meanings behind certain songs. So there obviously is still meaning there, but you know I think the things that are popular now, when I think of rap, I think of old school rap, obviously, but now in that particular genre, you have mumble rap and all of that stuff. And it's like, okay, I mean, I guess it's kind of catchy, uh, but, it's hard to understand. I mean, actually, it's not that hard to understand, but it's just like, it's kind of all mashed together. And it's like, oh, all right. If that's what today's youth likes, then I'll stick to my, NWA or Tupac or Logic. I mean, Logic, his older albums for sure, but I mean, even his newer albums are good. Just those guys that you grew up with, as far as rap goes, and just like, but again, I don't shy away from like most genres of music. I listen to most genres. So, rock, alternative, classic, punk, country. I know a lot of people don't like country, but I like to dabble in country, listen to it. It's got to be it's a mood. It's a complete, it's a full mood. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I'm gonna take this another direction because us being good friends, I think we're all on the same wavelength, on that kind of dark humor, cynical path for this new generation of music. Um, but let me spin it this way a little bit. Not playing devil's advocate. I just want to talk about this other phenomenon that I'm seeing, from my experience to music, all my life. I mean, I feel like music is a huge part in everyone's lives, right? Um, it feels like nowadays, um, music is now becoming genreless almost, right? I mean, you still have your hip hop. I mean, you still have things that fall in certain categories, but it seems like there's a lot of crossover, right? You have a lot of country music going more poppy. I mean, that's always been the case since Taylor Swift, or maybe way before that. But but I mean more like poppy hip hop. I mean, you get like a lot of different types of music, that gets classified, that blends with other genres. Um, this is, and I'm not going to go into the musical theory of this. Anyone can be like, oh, this has been going on for years with since funk and jazz and all that stuff. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more about like musical charts, right? We're just gonna go into um like the top 20, like this and that. Like Zavon was saying, there used to be your top 20 top hits, weekly or of the month or of the year. um, you could tell like there's like different clear cut genres, subgenres of music. And nowadays it's like you have top 5 songs. The artists are in their respective category, whether it's you know pop, hip hop, R&B, country, punk, rock, whatever. But then you'll have like featuring the same type of artists that cross reference over, featuring Drake, featuring Post Malone, um, Tim McGraw featuring Post Malone. Like it's like everybody's just crossing over with each other, and it's like this. And then that kind of goes with what Zavon was saying, where the music all kind of sounds the same because you're getting these same artists crossing over, creating these no longer these boundaries, and making lack of a better term, hits. And again, hits is a subjective term, but hits across the board. And so take it as you will. I think sometimes it's pretty dope. You got I don't know. I'm blanking on some country star names. Sure, Tim McGraw again, featuring I don't know, featuring Young Thug on some song, right? I don't know. Now, I will say my final say though. I'm a big hip hop, R&B fan. I do love some new R&B these days. Ever since the Bryson Tiller Black, they started a new subgenre of R&B called basically trap R&B. I forgot what it's called. Starting from Bryson Tiller, all that stuff. I love that new sound. It's a really city vibe. Like you're driving lonely on a highway with the windows down, sunset. It's a cool vibe. I do appreciate that music. When it comes to hip hop, the mumble rap is different from me. I can't say I hate it. I don't want to say hate, but I can't listen to it. This is where I feel like I'm getting old, right? Because like sometimes you'll hear Playboy Cardi. Is that another one who's blowing up right now? I don't know, but I'll hear like his music, and a lot of people love it. Even some old heads, when it comes to like hip hop, are like, yeah, he's great. And I was like, okay, I'll take your advice. I'll try to listen to him. And the mumble rap combined with the scratchy auto tune. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about. High pitch. I don't know. I'm getting old, man. Like it cuts my ears, and I'm like, I like the beat, but I can't. It hurts my ears a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the slow, soft music, Beethoven. To get back into it. But anyways, I digress. So moving on to kind of wrap things up. I kind of want to leave it with this. I'm gonna open up to all three of us, but I'm gonna start with you two and propose this question. If anything, what would it take though for you to at least try to see it from the perspective of a big fan of this new genre of music in whatever category? So pick whatever category you are most hating on the most. For me, like I said, mumble rap, hip hop, you know, and what would at least get you to try to see it from their perspective and try to at least appreciate it in one way or another?
I'd have to be drunk. I'll leave it there.
Oh man. Now, what kind of drunk? Do you gotta set the mood where you're in a dark room, headphones on, you know, um, soundproof room, buzzing, or do you gotta be like out at the bar, out somewhere?
Dude, I don't know, man. If they're gonna sit me down in like an interrogation room like setting and playing like the top 20 pop hits, whatever, like I would have to be insanely drunk. But the thing is, I don't drink, so I don't even know what kind of drunk I am. If I'm drunk, I could be like the person who's just straight up like no filter and just say their music is shit straight to their face. Or I don't know, man.
Or you
I don't
might
know.
like it.
For me, like I don't care like what your like favorite music genre is and what you listen to and stuff. It's I mean that's the power of being like an individual, you know, right? It's art.
Yeah.
You can express yourself in any way you want, or find something that expresses you in any way, shape, or form, and it's
Right.
open to like interpretation, right? So, I mean, again, my opinion, I don't see as much value or meaning behind pop music. Maybe there is. I'm more of a like a lyric guy, but when you're repeating like the same like 30 words in the chorus of a song,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all you like ever do, that's all like any other song on the radio charts does, like it gets old for me real quick. Especially if like their main intent is just to make money, make something catchy, you know, copy and paste the chorus and copy and paste the auto tune, the notes, whatever. But like I said, I don't care what folks listen to. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, you know, like I will tell you straight up. I mean, you guys already know. I told you guys this long time ago. I'm someone who can only work out to slow music. Like, you know, I just don't get, you know, the hype surrounding, for me, like, you know, Zumba music, you know, to get you going. But, you know, just like us talking about music, you know, it's subjective. It's every it's what gets you moving yourself, regardless of whoever thinks. And so, you know, part of my part of my theory or my critique of people who like are trying to listen to this, it's a mood thing, right? For me, mood comes first when it comes to music, then lyrics. If the mood gets me first, you know, the vibe of the how the song is orchestrated and put together, produced, that gets me first, and then the lyrics decide if I will stick to it or turn me off. um, and and with music these days, I feel like a lot of people aren't even listening to the lyrics. It's just more of like, you know, the mood of like, I just want to, you know, just party all the time. And so it's different. I'm more of a slow paced music, and so it's hard for me to hear like this new type of genre sometimes because they all sound the same, especially on the radio. I mean, what's radio these days? You know, who's still listening to radio? I listen for the fun comedy sketch, you know, with your favorite local anchor or local DJ, whatever they're called nowadays. Tyler?
Yeah. No, very similar again. I think, I mean, I don't know. I don't really have like a huge gripe with like today's music. Like I said, I just don't necessarily find myself listening to everything. Um, I think the majority of the things that come out nowadays are mostly pop anyways. So that's kind of what you always hear. And while some of them are catchy, some of them have decent lyrics I've listened to, but the majority of them all sound very similar, which is why you can always kind of nod your head to it because you're like, I feel like I've been listening to the same beat for a while now. I mean, so I don't know. For me, I'm not really sure what I could do to give it a chance. I mean, I think I give it a fairly decent chance, just because it's played everywhere, whether you listen to the radio or Spotify or whatever. There's always that like today's top hits or whatever the genre is. You know, today's top hits plays everything, whatever's popular. for the week or whatever. And it's just like, oh, all right, well, I guess, usually about 80% of the time, I'm like, I'm not really digging the song just because, either lyrics or beat. Usually it's one or the other. But when they just don't both, either one of them slaps, I just like, oh, all right. It's really just white noise to me at that point. And if I'm going to put on white noise just to kind of vibe with, I'm going to put on like lo-fi or something, just something that actually like sets a mood, sets a tone, all that stuff. I just don't know. Songs for me just don't do it anymore, as far as like setting a mood, setting a tone or whatever, which is why you find either older stuff or like parody stuff that makes fun of whatever the new stuff is, but seems to make more sense than the the new stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at. And again, I know, like you were saying, just like people moving across genres and everything. Like, look at Marshmello. I mean, he's a DJ. He is literally in rock songs with, A Day to Remember, which is, I love that band, but I was just like, okay, Day to Remember. Then he's in rap music. And then he's in some country music. I think there was a country artist that did something with him. So Marshmello is like all over the board, and he just kind of constructs his beat and rhythm to whatever the song is. But I mean, that's what today's generation really is about, is just kind of making something that's catchy. Biggest example I could give you is K-pop. Honestly, a lot of K-pop does have, multiple different lyrics and all that stuff, verses and whatnot. But there's a lot of things like, look at BTS, some of their songs right now, very catchy, but they literally say the same 4 lines, like the entire song. So if you're like, oh yeah, this is catchy. But then if you actually watch like a lyric video, it's literally the same like 4 verses for like 4.5 minutes. I'm like, huh. And I'm like, no wonder kids like this, because it's easy to understand. And they're also like, it's catchy. Like BTS is one of those things.
Yeah.
A lot of like little kids like to listen to that stuff. And then you have like the kind of getting into the preteens and the teens that are like, okay, I vibe with it. But then they also sing the lyrics. That's why like when people start singing those types of songs, it's like, oh, wow, all the lyrics. I'm like, actually, I'm not that impressed. There's literally 4 verses in the entire 4.5 minutes of music. So you memorizing that, maybe not as impressive as what it was if like you're, for instance, trying to, I don't know, for Rap God by Eminem or something, that's one of his newer ish songs. But like people that can recite at least maybe not rap as fast as him, but can recite the words in that entire song, I'm like, okay, I'll give you props for that. That's a long song, or any of that stuff. So yeah.
No, man, appreciate it. Yeah, I think definitely, I would say for me, maybe try to recreate it, reproduce it, maybe check out the lyrics and try to see how it's done. Who knows? I think I would try to give it a shot if someone who really appreciates it can let me know what they really love about it and see it from their perspective. Because if you just give me the song, maybe I could try to be analytical about it, but maybe I won't. And so, so we're going to wrap it up right there. Any last words from you two?
I just thought of something that made me even hate today's like pop music just a little more.
Yeah. Go ahead, man.
It's those cheesy TikTok dances, man.
Oh man.
Like I don't have a TikTok, but I see it passively. Like if it's like reposted on like Instagram or Twitter, I'm like, dude, this is so cheesy.
That's a whole nother topic. That's a whole nother topic, Zaman. Hey, I am really getting old, man. My nieces love TikTok and all that stuff. And there's some helpful videos on there. There's some interesting stuff. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm barely on Instagram, but like, you know, Instagram is basically the repost of every other social media site. So, you know, that's where I get my TikToks. But man, you know what the weirdest one to me? All right, we're gonna digress a little bit, but this is maybe for a future topic. Speaking of music on TikTok, like there's like, you know how Instagram or maybe it's TikTok, they do those versus things now, where like um someone does something and then you have someone reacting to it, and I'm like, what the? Anyways, but the one that really got me so annoyed, and I had to Reddit or I had to Google it just to figure out what the hell is going on. So there's been a series of videos where somebody plays a song called it's like Three Little Birds or something like that. I don't know if you guys been seeing this. Like it's like Three Little Birds sit on my window, and so someone plays that song in like a chipmunk style, and then someone else reacts to it and like is like super shocked by it and is like, "Oh, you got to listen to it." And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" I have no clue. What is it? Apparently, based on Reddit, which I trust, it's about um, these TikTokers are hearing this song for the first time, or they're hearing an original song and speeding it up, and then they are shocked that they're like, "Oh, that was on the Alvin and Chipmunk movie," so that's what they're shocked about, and that's what their crazy reaction is about. Um, anyways, that's another topic we could probably talk about TikTok and it's fun stuff on there. Fun. That's another episode that I could propose. Um, is TikTok that great, or are we just getting old? We are just gonna have a series of these.
Oh man.
And
I think I
Zavon,
think I was gonna say
yeah,
I think it's also funny that you brought that up too, because it's like I don't know if it's more of a frustrating thing, but it's kind of funny thing at the same
yeah,
time when people listen to music and they're just like it might be like an older song and they're just like, oh man, they sampled this from like I don't know, whoever's popular right now. I can't think of anything.
yeah,
But you know what I mean, like Cardi B, for instance.
right,
It's like, oh man, they sampled this from Cardi B. I'm like, nah, what? They're like, yeah,
right,
yeah, it's the same like beat. I'm like, yeah, you realize the song that you're listening to is from like 15 years ago, right?
right,
And then the song that they actually sampled was from 15 years prior to that. So technically, this beat that you have from the Cardi B is rolling with is technically 30 years old. It's
right,
reused it from 2 or 3 other songs. And I'm
right.
like, but then they're reacting. They're like, oh, what the heck? That's like what was the big thing? When was it Nicki Minaj? Or no, it was Missy Elliott.
Hmm.
In recent times, she was just like, oh wow, who's this Missy Elliott? She's like super good. Is she like an up and coming rapper? We're like, bruh, I cannot with this.
There has
I've
to be
seen
some
that.
trolls. There has to be some trolls, man.
Dude, I was like Missy Elliott, man. We grew up listening to her, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? Kind of since we digressed a little bit, but bring it back to our current episode. You remember like the early 2000s rap, you know, like Soulja Boy, you know, like all the more like, you know, the music videos where everyone is like drinking, partying all the time, rolling in the Escalade with the spinners, and and like all those upbeat club musics. I used to think was so annoying back in the day, right? Like, because at the time I was like getting into Nas and getting into like that's when I was really discovering Tupac, um, and Biggie and getting into Jay-Z, and so like good hip hop, and then like then you would have like these side guys, like Soldier Boy and his group, not his group, but like that category of that type of music. But it's funny, the mumble rap or the newer rap now, makes me appreciate those older rap when I go back to listen to it. I'm like, I kind of like it now that I'm older. And so that's why it kind of made me think about this topic where it's like, is the music these days that bad, or are we just getting old? But I really like that topic of the TikTok thing, man. It irks me a lot, man. Those reaction videos just blow my mind. It's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing to me. Yeah. And I'm not a big social media person, so maybe that's one thing. I don't know. Maybe I am getting old. Maybe maybe us three should start a new series called what's up with, like basically, like for example, the TikTok one. Is TikTok that great, or are we just getting old?
Yeah, I can already think of people that we can throw on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, appreciate y'all.
We're probably going to piss off a lot of Gen Z kids.
Hey.
And young millennials, but
we always start a disclaimer. This is just our opinion. But we,
Yeah.
According to them, our opinion's wrong.
Yeah.
Your opinion hurts my feelings.
I would love to start that up. Maybe we should do that. This would be episode 1 of that, but we'll play with the idea down the road. Well, it's time to wrap it up. It's getting a little late here. So I want to appreciate you guys again. It's always fun to kind of end the night with good laughs with you guys, or discussions with you guys. Sometimes we have deeper topics.
Yeah.
But today was definitely a lighthearted episode, And so again, we're wrapping up here. We appreciate you guys for listening as always. Thank you again. We know that we may not be where we are at or where we want to be, but the main thing is that we're showing consistency and just trying to learn and just trying to grow. And at the end of the day, having fun with it, with just us friends just chatting about different topics, and exercising our minds a little bit and just kind of being on the spot talking about things. And so we hope you guys do the same. Take this question of the night, run it by with your friends and family, start that mental exercise, and see what you guys come with. See if you agree with what we agree with, or if you completely disagree, feel free to send us some feedback. And we love to have that open conversation, because that's how we all learn and grow, right? Through these open conversations, and respecting each other's views and laying it out on the table and going our own ways with our own views. But until then, we're going to keep staying consistent and keep seeing y'all next week. So we appreciate y'all. We're going to wrap it up. Y'all have a good night. Again, thank you for listening. This is Our Stories, Your Legacy. We'll see y'all next week, and we are out.
See ya.